Oh, there goes
Tugboat.
He gone.
He gone.
I blame
Alright,
the
so
conference center's
oh,
Wi-Fi.
he's back.
So sad. I'm so sad because I lost so much of that, I think.
Did you catch that nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition?
No.
That was what happened. He said he wasn't expecting visitors, and I said nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition. That's literally all that happened, and
That's
there was
all
no
that happened.
response.
Oh,
But like we left, and then it was dead silent, and we just sat here in silence. Like, what happened?
Waiting.
I've been sitting here having a conversation back and forth with myself, and I thought you guys were just being an attentive audience. And then I stopped and I said, "Okay, so Kyle, what are you doing?" And then there was nothing. I was like, "Ah, piss."
The awkward moment when we're all waiting for each other. Like, whenever you're ready, just go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. As soon as you're ready, just
Okay, okay. So, I'll reenact the conversation here. So, I wasn't expecting no visitors. Yeah, well, we have one. Well, she said two. She said another. She said there's another coming.
I didn't tell
Tell
him
him
that there
to.
was another coming. I waited until he'd run ahead and told the one who was staying behind.
Oh.
That is correct. Okay.
Hmm.
Sorry. Backpedaling. We have a visitor. She's here. I know we weren't expecting any, but she's here. Well, tell her to piss off. I'm not in the mood today.
Aww. Hey there, Mr. Grumpy Gills.
Kyle, what are you doing?
At this point, I'm just gonna start walking through the gate as if I pretty much own the place, like I'm supposed to be here.
Looking exactly
Um,
like me in the
Exactly
robe.
like her in a robe.
It's my twin
roll
sister.
perception.
Roll what?
Roll perception.
17.
As you're walking in, you look in through one of the arrow slits, and you see a goblin face that's like right on the other side of the wall. And he looks really surprised for a moment, and he rubs his eyes, and he's just like, "Yeah, well, she did say that she looked just like her." And they let you in.
Okay.
Aislinn, are you headed through the castle?
I was following probably 15 feet behind the goblin, maybe a little more.
Oh, okay. So you'd be able to see the open doors as opposed to all the other doors that are closed. And I would. This is for Kyle. Sorry, Kyle would probably be able to put two and two together. That's probably the direction that the goblin or that Aislinn went.
Okay, I'm gonna follow suit that way.
Okay, you'd kind of step carefully through the collapsed part of the ceiling that was the trap. You go into the next room, and there's I didn't realize that. No, it's fine. The goblin went through there. It's yeah. The room in front of you is pretty dark, but then as you get up into the following area, it brightens back up. Natural light coming in through the ceiling and stuff. Following the open doors, you pass through what would appear to be like a guard barracks, where there are two hobgoblins, and they as you come through, they also look surprised as you're catching up towards Aislinn, because that really does look just like her. And then you'd be able to catch up to Aislinn. So Aislinn and Kyle, you guys are at this point you'd be walking into this room,
Was I close
That is
enough
just
to have overheard the conversation between the goblin and the king?
if you were following 15 feet behind, then yes.
Okay.
Um,
And was Torin peeking through a doorway enough that I would have been able to notice that perhaps as I'm going along, or
roll me perception, and if you roll higher than Torn actually was rolling pretty good on stealth. What was it, a 15? So if you roll a 15 or higher on,
my passive's 15, but I can also roll for it because I would be actively looking around.
I mean, with a passive of 15, you'd notice him.
Okay.
Just kind of off the bat. So you do see him, and he's crouched down. He's hiding really well, but
I am
you're
very attuned to my surroundings.
well trained. Exactly. So
I'm going to pass him a very subtle wink.
Would I also notice him
so you guys
if I was
roll perception.
Okay, are we rolling? Right?
You can,
Okay.
unless you want to use your passive perception.
I would rather use my passive.
What is your passive
That's
perception?
the skill mod plus 10, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that would be 17.
Oh, that's right, because you have friggin' expertise in your perception.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you would also see him.
Acting very Aizen-like, I also wink at him.
Torin, you just received a wink from 2 different Aislins.
Oh, fuck.
And you two are led into a chamber that has been set up as a crew living space. There are thick furs thrown on the floor to serve as carpets, old trophies hanging on the wall, a large bed to the north, and a brazier of coals burning brightly. A round table with several chairs stands to the south near the door. In here is who you would assume to be King Grawl. He is a pretty large bugbear. He's got battle scars, and he is holding what appears to be a weathered great axe. This great axe, while worn and older looking, it looks like it was very, very finely crafted. It's got like a big ass axe head on one side, and the back end of it is kind of hammer looking. Yeah. So that's the bugbear. He also has a wolf that is laying kind of near the brazier because the brazier is warm, and there appears to be a female drow. Yes, so there's a female drow in the room as well. She's seated at the table. The hood of her cloak is pulled back, revealing her dark skin and silver hair. She, even though it's early in the morning, it looks like she's enjoying a glass of wine.
Classy. All right. And so I take it that Grum seems very agitated at the moment. Cranky, one might say.
Yeah, cranky. Cranky sounds like a good phrasing for how King Groll appears to be feeling.
King Groll. And the drow seems pretty just chill and completely in control of herself and her surroundings, sort of thing.
She seems very in control of herself. Her presence seems very cold. She doesn't seem... She may seem relaxed at the moment, but from her face, she does not appear to be pleased.
Okay. She's not... she's less relaxed and more unable to be bothered, sort of thing. It's like, just because something doesn't please her doesn't mean that it automatically puts her on edge because she controls everything around her.
Right. It's almost like not like a frustrated, but like well, if this thing doesn't come through, you understand the consequences.
Yep.
So, given your ability with people, I'd say that you would be able, that Aislinn would recognize that pretty well.
Yeah.
Kyle, however, probably wouldn't necessarily pick up on that without some serious insight.
She just looks super, super calm.
Yeah. To you, it looks like she's just lounging with a cup of wine.
Mm-hmm.
So, a little bit of RDF.
Yes. So I'm going to make a very elaborate curtsy toward King Grawl. But as I'm doing it, I'm going to kind of dip my head toward the drow in this kind of a big showy thing to make Grawl feel like he's being honored, but also a subtle nod to I see where the real authority in this room is.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
So King Grawl, because he's got the great axe kind of at his side, and he just kind of drops the head of it onto the ground and almost leans on it, kind of trying to make himself look really big and no, I'm calm. And
Yep.
what the hell do you want?
I mean, I suppose it depends on which hell you mean, sir. There are 9 to choose from, but I'm actually here on invitation from a mutual friend of ours.
Oh, is that so? What friend is that?
Friend may be perhaps too familiar a term, but I believe he sometimes goes as Iana.
Bloody wizard? But if you're here on his request, where the hell is he? He should be here in the castle. Got here a couple days ago.
So while this conversation is happening, I'm kind of keeping an eye out of the corner of my eye on the drow to see what her reaction is to all of this, in case she shows any surprise, or if this seems to be more or less concerning for her, sort of thing.
She definitely cocked her head a little bit when you mentioned Iarno. Let's see. Nope, she doesn't. She doesn't recall that Iarno doesn't happen to be his real name. So she cocks her head a little bit, and she'll actually butt in saying, "Yes, it would be quite strange that he's not present with his companion, friend, acquaintance, maybe."
Oh, acquaintance will do well enough. Potential business partners. And there's genuine surprise on my face that he's not here. It is strange. He told me that this would be the ideal meeting place. Did not mention that there were others here who quite likely outrank him, but I suppose that's the way with wizards, never wanting to acknowledge power greater than their own. Wouldn't you say?
He is quite low on our totem pole, truly. But he does think himself great.
Yes,
and
one can usually tell the sort.
The bugbear is gonna point at the goblin and go fetch the wizard. He should be here. And the goblin is going to scurry out. And in fact, he is going to scurry straight across the hallway. to where Torin, Brave, and Aerie are. So, let's see here. Do you guys happen to remember what your stealth rolls were? Or seeing him coming?
Torin
I know
was
that
a 15, right? Because I
yes,
needed a 15.
yeah.
to
Torin was a
overcome.
15.
Mine
Torin
was
was a 15 for sure.
Mine was a modified 20.
That's right. And then Aerie was a 7. So
But
not
he
so
was
good.
farther back in the room.
That's true. So, with that in mind, Goblin, whose stats I need to flip to real quick, figure out what his perception is. Oh my goodness. He walks into the room, he glances around. Aerie is like pressed up, like think Kronk from the Emperor's New Groove style. Like, one hand up by his head, the other hand is down by his hip, and he's just like pressed up against the wall, trying to not make eye contact. And then Brave and Torn are both hiding like really well. And the goblin looks around, looks under the table, and then scurries back out of the room.
Did he find the rat?
He probably saw the rat, yeah. Unless you guys want to do something as he's heading out of the room. 5, 4,
No.
3, 2.
Nah, I'm good. I don't want to do anything to him.
Okay. So he's gonna scurry back over, and he's, boss, I thought he would be in this tower, but he's not. In fact, he took his staff and his one bag of clothes. He's gone.
Fucking
Coward.
damn it.
Like I knew he was.
Of course.
So he's not even here
No.
Not anymore, he's not.
again.
Fucking damn it.
Wasting our time. I turn to my twin. I told you he would waste our time. Again.
Well, don't look at me. He told you, and he told me that he would be here.
The drow has a look of shock because that is not the voice that she expected to come out of another female half-elf.
I was doing a sort of impression, but I wasn't going to try.
Look at me.
Oh.
I was paying half attention. I could do that again.
Hey Kyle, what is your spell save DC?
What is my spell save? DC
Oh.
12.
Oh.
She looks at you, and she blinks her eyes for a moment, rubs her eyes, looks at Grawl, doesn't say anything. Grawl does not seem to notice.
Of course not. All humans have delicate voices compared to him.
And so the drow seems to have seen through your disguise, and suddenly, even though you know you're wearing full clothing, you feel weirdly naked. Like just her gaze is just cutting right through your disguise.
So
way
kind of like
Aiden
that. So like
seems
the
to be
night
able
at the
to see in-
windlass when she was in my
Yeah.
head.
Except instead of looking through your mind, it feels like she's looking through your clothes, and yet somehow it's less flattering. Probably because she looks a little disappointed or amused.
And there's definitely an eyebrow raise, and she wants to see where this is going.
Okay, so I'm assuming with my passive perception and passive insight, I can gather that I can gather this as well.
Most likely, yeah.
All right.
Because
I'm
he looked really shocked, and then like eyes opened wide, did the whole eye rubbing thing, and then she settled back into her chair, like almost even further than she was before. King Groll, however, seems just really pissed off that
the wizard is
that
a coward and just
the
ran away
wizard
without
has
leaving word.
gone. Yeah.
So I'm going to also look at Kyle and kind of like turning my head so that my expression isn't immediately visible to Grawl. I'm going to kind of give my own sort of suspicious and confused look, and then kind of force a smile a little bit. Like, okay, I don't know what kind of. I want to look like vaguely confused for a moment. Like now I'm going. Something seems off. I'm not sure what's happening. So I'm gonna go with this for the moment. But now I'm on edge. King Grawl, please tell me you have some means of keeping track of this wayward mage.
No, he came under orders of Black Rose, and well, he said he was running from some people, dwarf, human. They all sounded like pussies.
Yes, well, as someone who's part human, I'll try not to take offense at that. But it is a fair assessment, I would say.
Damn wizard. Ugh. And he
Indeed.
has a moment where like something just kind of occurred to him. Craig, go check on the dwarf. And the goblin is going to scurry out of the room again.
Did he
But
say check on the dwarf?
Yes.
Okay.
He's going to scurry out of the room and head south. So Torin, still looking through the door, would see him come out of the door and then hook a hard left and head down that way.
Would Torin have heard him say, "Go check on the dwarf"?
Roll perception.
That is a 21 for perception.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
What was that?
I'm sorry.
I don't know.
I'm sorry.
I forgive you. So you did hear.
Yes, you did hear, go check on the dwarf.
But
Sweet.
then you went to the other doorway.
Yes, he went south instead of back into the tower.
So you have the dwarf. Then why was Yarno so scared if you've got his hunters or pursuers in captivity?
Different dwarf. This one we got from goblins over on the east side of that puny human town.
Yes. He hasn't given you too much trouble. I've heard that dwarves make notoriously terrible guests.
Well, when we keep him on the brink of death, we don't feed him much. He's not much of a problem, honestly.
That would do it. That would do it. Although, with those hardy constitutions, it is hard to starve even a dwarf, in my experience.
We just give him a good kick to the noggin about once a day.
Ooh, you haven't broken any toes, have you?
One. Well, that's what she's here for. And he points over to the drow. She just kind of finger waves.
I wave back. To clarify, she's here to do the kicking for you or to repair broken bones and such?
Goblins aren't very good at the medicine thing. Neither are bugbears or hobgoblins.
Well,
So,
of course, you have your own specialties.
hitting things mostly.
Yes, and I think few could rival you in that arena.
He looks very flattered. His demeanor cheers up by like 1 point. The goblin will scurry back in pretty close to this point and go, "No, he left the dwarf. Didn't take him. Good. Means still got something to kick."
Yes.
Is that your reason for keeping him, or do you need something else of the dwarf?
Mhm.
The drow will go, "My superiors want him alive for now. We think he's important."
The mention of superiors, does the drow have any sort of mark, any sort of symbol or something on her? Like, we've got our pins. Does she have a similar one, or like an amulet, holy symbol, anything that pins her as part of any organization?
Nothing that is evident. Not anything evident on her clothing, no.
Okay. All right.
Can Torn kind of work his way towards the door that goblin ran into when they were talking about finding the dwarf?
You can certainly try.
Is the door
It's
to
not like-
Growl's room wide open still, or did the goblin close it behind him when he came back in?
The door is wide open, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, I will let you opt between keeping your 15 stealth or re-rolling it because now you're trying to move.
Can I roll first and then decide?
No.
Okay. I'm gonna go for it.
Okay.
Okay. That is a 22.
What is your dexterity bonus?
Did Torrin take proficiency in stealth?
Is Torin even here?
Is
Sorry,
Torrin
I rolled the wrong one. 4.
Oh,
Or
that's very.
okay.
Yeah.
So-
no.
While you feel
I'm just rolling on my phone because it's faster math, and I clicked the survival instead of stealth.
Oh,
I have
got it.
+3 for that.
Got it. Okay, so you feel pretty well hidden. Are you going alone, or is Brave coming with you? That's a question for Brave, not for Torian.
Yes, he is. What?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay,
Shit.
so
Okay.
you can opt between keeping your, what was it, total of 20 stealth, or re-rolling for it.
I'm gonna keep my total.
Okay, I'm going to re-roll for Ari because that was pretty rough. That was cocked.
Yeah.
That's a
He's
total of
been-
18. That's much better.
He
Oh,
got
yeah.
really scared when the goblin came in. That scared him into focus. Step lightly.
So Ari had a 7 for his stealth previously. The goblin rolled a 7 for his perception, but they have
he has a
minus one
-1.
to their wisdom.
Yes.
So even though Ari was super not sneaky, the goblin just didn't notice him.
And did
So-
King Grawl call the goblin Greg?
Craig.
Craig. All right.
Except, so I had it in my head because it looks like spelling wise, it looks very goblin-y because it's Kreg.
Mm-hmm.
But then as soon as I said it, I was like, his name is Craig.
Craig, not
So-
Craig.
So while they're
Yeah.
sneaking, I'm in the middle. Craig, did the wizard leave behind anything of his that we might use to contact him or
Well-
remind him of his loyalties?
His rat is still here. His little magic rat.
Interesting. That might be of some use. Go bring it for me, would you?
Yes, ma'am. And he's gonna scurry out of the room and let's see here. What was your stealth, Torin? 4.
Would be a 4.
Well, the goblin just nat 20'd on his perception. So he's going to take a couple of steps out of the room, and he pauses, and then he looks at all three of you. He goes, "Hey, what are you doing?"
You know what? Let's fucking roll with it. We're here to clean the castle walls.
Roll for deception.
Hold on. As soon as he says that, Torn like whips out his drapes to like use them as a rag and starts rubbing the nearest wall.
Wait.
Okay.
Can I roll with
for
advantage?
deception with advantage.
Oh, thank God.
That is so on brand.
We're here to clean the castle walls.
I rolled a 14.
Goblin roll insight. Unless you just had a set DC in your head for it.
Roll 7.
The DM is now speaking Infernal.
So yeah, I mean, he just and so he's
Please tell me that worked.
kind of have wall cleaners, and then he's
We don't know what I'm
And then
saying,
he's-
man.
Well, I can't understand what you're saying, Tugboat.
We don't have a clue. There's not a single intelligible word in that mix.
Oh, it's so bad.
It's spreading. Kill it. Kill it.
oh,
It's spreading.
okay. Let's try this. Is this better?
Much
Yeah.
better.
Okay. Well, so I haven't cut out since I swapped off of Wi-Fi to my data, but then just now my data connection dropped to red instead of green. But on Wi-Fi was when I was just dropping every little bit. So
Mm-hmm.
okay. We had wall cleaners, and then he's gonna go into the room and he's gonna get Iarno's rat, and he's gonna go back into the king's room, and he's gonna go. Did you know the wall cleaners were here?
Oh, God damn it! No!
And King Grawl.
I'm going
Oh
to
my
give-
goodness. Please
Oh.
tell me he crit failed.
Oh my
He crit failed,
goodness!
didn't he?
Please tell me he believes it.
No, he rolled a 2.
I didn't know it was Thursday.
Well, it's about damn time that the Black Rose sends some people to fix up this damn castle.
Oh my god.
It's gold.
And the
Okay.
drow
Oh my gosh.
He rolled a 3.
What just happened?
The drow rolled a 3?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, if I'm seeing 3 things to buy it, I'm gonna roll with it. Oh, I completely forgot to mention, yes, as a sign of our gratitude for this wonderful working relationship we've developed, we thought it was about time we got some repairs done around here so that your abode more fitting for your magnanimous estate.
And he's gonna kind of, adjust his shoulders. His posture's gonna be more upright. He actually looks kind of kingly with how he's standing right now. He's like, "Yeah, that's right. I'm glad to have finally been noticed."
Indeed. Craig, could I see the rat, please?
Yes, of course. And I hand you the rat. Grabbing the rat, it is. I mean, it is a solid creature, but it's weirdly blue and like almost looks incorporeal.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's very clearly familiar.
Yeah.
But it is tangible. It is physical.
Cool.
It's just a summoned spirit of types.
I'm going to lift it up so that I'm making eye contact with the rat. Just cock an eyebrow. I'm not sure whether you're actually actively watching right now, or whether your cute little pet here relaying the message later. But I find it rather rude that after our lovely conversation, you would just bail me like this. And I'm going to take my pin and hold it up right next to my face. I'm sure you have at least some inkling of the consequence of such inexcusable actions, and I suggest you correct this immediately.
So, the rat's nose was twitching, as a rat's nose does when it's just kind of sniffing around for about half of that first sentence, and then it stopped, and its eyes went from a rat's looking around kind of thing all the time to just laser focused on you. And so, right near the beginning of your talking with him, it seems that he started looking through the eyes of this familiar.
So I
and
do have your
controlling it.
attention then.
And after a moment, the little rat head kind of nods.
All right. Are you going to remedy the situation immediately? Should we, and I'm going to turn it so that the rat gets a good view of the drow and the bugbear, but not the second Aislinn.
Okay.
Yeah. Or are we going to have to take further action?
It looks at you, and then its nose starts twitching again.
Fine. And I'm going to take the rat and just hurl it into the fire.
Okay.
Freaking
Make a dexterity attack. An attack.
All right.
Because it's small enough that it would be easy to hurl, so it's not a strength. But you are trying to land it in a brazier.
That's
Kobe.
an
Yeet check.
So that would be I believe that is an 8.
It doesn't quite land into the brazier, but you do land it right in front of the wolf, and the wolf
Even better.
eats it. Just straight eats it. Like
Yep.
it lands in front of it, and it just kind of like the wolf looks at it, and then no growl or anything. It just goes like, "Oh, snack."
From yeet to eat. That is the best.
You're welcome.
I want that on a sticker now.
Put that in the kitchen.
That should be like a game or something where you like throw grapes or something in each other's mouths from across the room.
You mean like
So-
throwing it in the air and eating it?
So
Yeah.
the two hobgoblins that were in the room to the south of the king's quarter, that were standing guard when Aislinn and second Aislinn walked through, they see the group of three that are now pretending
Cleaning
to
the
scrub
walls.
at the walls, and they kind of ignore them because they heard the whole interaction.
Yeah.
So they're just like,
That's
oh
what they can
yeah,
say.
the wall cleaners are here.
Oh my gosh.
So are you guys continuing to head south?
Yeah, I want to get. I want to get into that room with the dwarf.
Okay. As you approach the door, one of the hobgoblins kind of starts towards you, and then the other one just kind of like grabs his arm and is like, "They're here to clean the walls, and they're probably also taking stock of what kind of damage we need to fix, and so they can go in there. It's fine."
What he said.
And they so then they don't stop you. You open the door, and inside of this door is very dark. So you step in.
Can I like?
Do you want to?
My,
Are you going to close the door behind you, or?
Yeah. I think I'm just gonna close it behind me.
Okay, so Torin, Brave, and Airy close the door behind them on their way in, and yeah, so it's very very dark in this tower. There are no arrow slits on in this room, so there is no natural light. Except for the little bit that creeps in through the door above and below.
Okay.
Um,
Can I summon like a firebolt in my hand to brighten it up a little bit?
It's not usually how fire bolts work.
So casting Firebolt is an attack. So like you could use it to have like a brief moment of light as you throw it, like because it's you summon it into your hand to throw it. Is
Okay.
how the spell works.
Maybe not then.
Okay. Let's see here. What does Airy have on him? Because he might have light.
Oh, I have torches. I can
You have
light it with
torches?
fire.
That's. I'd say that's easy enough to do. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
You call on your minor arcane powers that you've recently been working on, and you're able to conjure the flame and kind of like gentle toss it the like half inch the torch, realizing that like you can't hold this flame, but you can summon it and toss it, and so you light the torch with it. I'd say that would be pretty easy to do. And so you hold it aloft, and I need you to make a history check.
Just me?
Just you.
Oh. Okay. That is a 18.
Before you, is what used to be a stout, sturdy, long, red-bearded dwarf. At this moment in time, he's become a little gaunt. He is bent and broken from the physical abuse he's been receiving from the hobgoblins and the goblins and the bugbear.
And I know him.
Torin? You came?
Yup.
The dwarf in front of you
Freaking stop it.
is Graic Torchstone.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no.
Father?
Torin! You
I-
came?
Oh god, no, there's two of them. No, no.
I assume he's chained up.
Yes.
Can I run over and try to break his chains off and pick him up, look at him?
You can, yeah. Give me a strength check, or like just a strength check, straight check.
Strength check. 12.
My DC was 11. These chains are kind of rusted. These chains are kind of rusted, and they're not particularly strong. They're enough to hold this weakened dwarf. So, wrenching on the chain, you're able to break it. And while it is a pretty sharp sound, it doesn't seem loud enough to have alerted anybody in particular. There are tears forming in Graic Torchstone's eyes. And he looks at you. He says, "You've become strong, boy."
I'm actually crying just a little bit.
I'm not crying, you're crying.
Torin, I assume Torin right now is all torn up and can't, like, choking back words, tears. How long have you been here?
The passage of time has lost meaning in this tower. I truly don't know. It could be weeks, it could be months. I don't know.
We gotta get you out of here. And I want to pick him up and, like, put him over my shoulder like I'm helping him walk. And
He kind of staggers up to his feet. He stumbles. With your help, he is able to lift himself up again. Why are you here? I left you.
I didn't know you were here. We've been looking for you. You disappeared.
Disappeared is one word. Left is the word I would have used. I'm sorry, Torin.
No, they said you were taken.
There is much that you do not know. You are not my son.
What?
What?
Your mother.
Oh.
Your mother had a child with a human.
Oh.
I did not know for so long Your entire life I thought you were my son. But just before I left, when I was supposed to give you the mall, I learned of your mother's affair. And I could not bring myself to give you the mall. And I left. And I'm sorry.
Where is it?
King Groll. He took it from me.
Is this the great big battle axe he's holding?
Yes.
I am going to kick his ass.
Oh, damn.
Boy. I'm sorry that I left. I didn't know what else to do. You may not be my child, but you are my son.
I missed you, Father. And I want to set him down for a second. Just kind of,
Okay?
not just leave him here, but put him kind
Right.
of back.
there, right?
What?
What?
Aries there with you guys, right?
Yes.
Oh, Ari is here. I look to Ari and I say, could you bring him back to health? I'll be right back.
I will do what I can. Yes.
And Torrin's going to walk out the door and
I'll follow Torin.
and go to the main hall.
All right. So you're marching out past the hobgoblins. They're kind of like, what's going on? But they don't seem to make an immediate move to follow you as you head towards the king's quarter.
Okay. And I want to walk up to the king. And
You turn the corner. The king looks at you and then looks at the axe on your back. And no, he doesn't put two and two together.
Yes.
He thinks that's a good old fashioned, like road traveling protection axe.
Who wouldn't carry a battle axe with them? Like, honest.
And Torrin is going to start sprinting at him.
No, wait.
Okay.
No axe in hand. And he's going, right before he gets to him, he's going to put his hands up in the air, bring him down, and summon his great axe right before it hits him.
Okay.
Oh.
I will allow you to do so because it would basically be the same thing as drawing it.
Yeah.
Off your back, but it's just fucking
Way
cool
more
flavor.
dramatic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Roll for an attack.
And I think that adds to the surprise because he hasn't actually reached for his axe. We're like, he's running. Oh, there's an axe in his hand.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
The king
At first, it's just like, oh crap. And then it's like, oh crap.
Yeah.
Modded 20 to hit. Oh, you're cutting out. No one can hear you.
Is he there?
No, come back.
Come back. I need you right now.
Come. It's important. Come back.
I need you now.
We need to know how the story ends.
Sorry, I disappeared the game because of the internet.
It's okay.
So I don't know if it came through. I will give you advantage on this attack because of the total surprise of it.
Hit him.
Sorry, say that one more time.
You get advantage
You
on
can
your
attack with
roll.
advantage.
Oh, I mean, I guess I already. I mean, I could crit.
See if you can do better.
No, modded 20.
That will, in fact, hit. Roll me that sweet sweet damage.
Tests are cold, but can be reheated in the microwave if you.
That's 12 damage.
What did Hobbit say?
Okay. Let
And-
me. What is this? That is not it. Hold on. Where did my initiative sheet go? Because we're gonna need to roll that initiative. Oh, there it is.
And
Okay.
I want to action surge.
So, I guess you're taking a full round because it's surprise,
Yeah.
or more or less surprise. So you said 12 damage.
Yeah, 12 damage. Action surge. I want to drop my axe and grab his throat with one hand, and with the other,
Okay.
use firebolt straight to his face.
Okay. So that's not really. The struggle here is that grabbing him like that might be considered a grapple, and that would be an action by itself.
Grapple is actually just considered an attack act.
Oh, okay.
I've had to double check that rule a lot, so I get you.
So, I mean, you don't have extra attack yet. It's not
No.
5th level.
So I mean,
But,
I was just doing the neck grab for
right.
medics, but
Right. No, I get it. That I'll say that you can have your hand on him, but it's not particularly affecting him at this moment. And then you can throw the fireball in his face with a ranged spell attack. Although I think it might be made at disadvantage because you're point blank.
If you're point blank, ranged, even ranged spells are at disadvantage.
Yeah. Okay.
okay, then ignore the firebolt. I want to see if I can't grab that great big maul from him.
Okay. So you can attempt with either strength or dexterity, whichever you prefer. It'll be I'll rule it like a grapple, so it'll be like a contested roll to disarm him.
All right.
Especially because he was leaning on it, and then you just smashed it down into his head.
Yeah.
So roll for your strength or dexterity, whichever.
So I rolled a 16, and I have a +3 to it. So modded 19.
The bugbear can only rolled an 8. So even with his +2, that's only a 10. So I will say that you are able to disarm him. You
Sweet.
grab on to the handle of the maul and just pull it out from under him, and he stumbles for just a moment because he was leaning on the axe, and then he suddenly finds himself disarmed. And when you grab on to the handle of the maul, you feel its warmth. You feel its pure dwarven craftsmanship. You feel the magic surging into your body because this was meant for you. However, you're not attuned to it yet, so
I
you don't
can't
get
use
its
anything
benefits
to it.
quite yet. But you do feel it. You feel yourself instantly becoming bonded with the weapon.
Like, I instantly bonded, as in summon bonded?
No.
Oh, okay. Just bonded. Okay. I got
That
really excited
initial
for it.
spark of becoming bonded, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Cool.
That is going to be the end of your surprise round. That is the end of your surprise round. So everybody roll initiative unless you already did so. And then let's get that initiative order going. Let's see here. 25 to 20.
20.
Sorry, doing math.
Is that brave?
23.
Yeah, Brave is at 20.
Okay.
Oh,
So
hi.
Kyle 23, Brave 20.
Brave's initiative bonus is only +1.
Yee.
Yeah, he's not a Dexy boy. Okay. Let's see here. Oh,
I'm going last.
that's fine.
Ironically
You
enough,
just
I
got a
put all
full
my
save.
stats into intelligence and wisdom because I thought I could use more spells.
Ouch.
Okay. And then Brave. And then 20 to 15.
Nope.
Okay. Uh, 15 to 10.
12.
Okay.
6.
Wow.
And
At least you got the surprise round.
we're in
Mm-hmm.
at 6. And Airy.
I really wish I had extra. I would have wrecked his day.
Indeed.
Okay.
So,
So,
just one more level.
Kyle, you are up.
All right. All right. So I'm trying to think of how many people are in the room. So there's the king, the drow. Are there
And
any
the
other
wolf.
goblin- And the wolf.
Oh, there is Craig, who is going to
Craig is the
go.
goblin.
Yes.
Right. Not the one from the front gate, though, right?
No, that
He is the one from the front gate.
Say that again.
He is the one from the front gate, yes.
Okay. Oh man, what do I open with? I didn't think I'd actually be first, and then I got a really high roll.
Kill Craig! Kill
Well,
Craig!
You're the rogue. Your goal is to go first.
I know. I just didn't think I actually would.
Oh no, I'm
So-
actually fitting into my class's description.
Uh,
We're becoming optimal. What do we do?
Shut up! I have a 20 dexterity. I think I'm optimal.
I know, it's just you're surprised that suddenly your character is actually fitting into its optimization.
I completely blanked about initiative when I rolled, and I said, "Oh wait, I have an initiative bonus." I'm like, "Oh my god, that's a 5." So I'm gonna make. Fuck. I'm gonna go attempt to. You know what? No, I'm gonna throw a dagger at the wolf.
Okay. Make your attack roll.
That is. What do I add to that again?
Your dexterity and your proficiency.
Right. Okay. So that 5, 7, 14.
That hits.
Oh wow. Okay. I'm gonna add 7 damage.
Okay. That's not bad,
And then
especially for a dagger.
Okay, and then how far am I from the drow and the king?
I would say that you're about 10 feet from the drow and about 10 feet from King Grawl, but in between you and Grawl are Aislinn and Torin, and then in between you and the drow would be the whole table.
Can I attempt to run and jump over the table?
Yes.
Yeah, you can make an acrobatics check, yeah.
Awesome. 14.
Easy enough. You get up onto the table. I'll say that with a 14, it doesn't take any extra movement for you to hop up onto it.
I would like to shield bash the drow.
Yes.
Yeah, go for it.
Ooh.